Hello and welcome to part 95. In this video, we will understand what is fire and forget pattern. Fire and forget refers to executing a task asynchronously without waiting for its completion. This is useful when you want to start a task that does not need to return a result or when you are not interested in handling the completion or failure of the task. So what we want to achieve here, we want to execute a task and we are not interested in the result of that task. Meaning there could be some low priority task that you just want to fire and just forget about them. And you are not expecting a return result from the task, or you are not worried about if the task is getting completed or the task is getting failed. In this kind of scenarios, we can use fire and forget. Example of this kind of scenario could be if you want to delete some temporary files from your system and you just want to execute this task and you are not worried about if your temporary files are getting deleted successfully or not. You just want to run this task and that's it. So let's see how we can implement this kind of strategy or pattern using task class. Okay, so this is the first way to create a fire and forget pattern. What we can do, we can use task class and execute a run method. To the run method, we can provide a lambda expression, and using the lambda expression, we can run any method. So here we are running a long running task. So this will be the task which will be fired and we will forget about it, right? And we will continue with our work after this, right? So let's go to Visual Studio and create this task. Okay, so I have opened up my Visual Studio. Here, if you notice, I have a long running task method that is iterating through 0 to 100 and printing that same number here. And then we are adding a delay of 500 milliseconds. Let's run this method using fire and forget pattern. So to do that, let's use our task class, and within the task class we have the run method. Let's see what run method is expecting. Run method is expecting an action. Action means we can specify a lambda expression here. Okay, so I have specified the lambda expression here, and within this lambda expression I can write my code that I want to just execute and forget about that. So I will just execute my long running task here. So we have fired this method here, right? And that's it. It will be keeps on running in the background. Meanwhile, we can complete any task that you want to do after firing this. So let's put another for loop. So this is my task which I'm running on my main thread, right? And this time after each iteration, we are making the thread to sleep for 200 milliseconds, right? So now let's run the program and see the behavior. Okay, so my program is running and you can see we are getting the response from main running task and long running task also. And if you notice, once we will complete our main running task, our background task will be keep on running, right? Here we have completed our main running task, main thread task is completed here, but in the background we are still seeing response from our background task, that is nothing but our long running task method. Okay, so this is how you can create fire and forget pattern using task.run method. Second way of achieving this is using task.factory.start new method. Let's see how we can use this and get the same result. So instead of directly using the run method, what I can do, I can take the method from the factory class task.factory.start new, and start new, if you check, this also takes an action. So I can specify a lambda expression here like this, and within this lambda expression I can execute my piece of code. Let me run my long running task, and this time let's reduce this main thread from 100 to 50. Okay, you can see our main task is running, long running task is also running, and our main running task will complete right here at 49 it will get complete, and our long running task will be keeps on running till it reaches 100. This was the second way. The third way is by using our thread pool class. So if you don't want to use task class, you can still use thread pool class and use the queue user work item method. Let's see this in action. So let's remove this piece of code and use thread pool class, and within this we have queue user work item. And if you see what it will take a callback, right? It will take an object of wait callback, because we don't want to have a callback after this method is completed. So what we can do, we can use the discard operator from C#, that is nothing but the underscore symbol, and then I can use my lambda expression like this and execute my long run. If I run my program, you will get the same result. Both the methods will run simultaneously, and when the main running task is completed, you will notice we will be keep on running the long running task. So here the main running task is completed, but still we are getting response from the long running task. One thing to notice here is when we are using the fire and forget pattern, we need to take care of error handling also. Because if our long running task, meaning the task that we have fired, is having any exception, in that case, our whole program can crash. Let me show you how. Let's see. Once we have reached, once we have reached the 10th iteration, that time we want to throw a new exception. Let me say, now let's reduce it to just 10 numbers and run the program. We reduce the delay here to 200 millisecond. Okay, and just run the program. Okay, so our program is running, but because we have an exception here, because of that our program has crashed, right? And if you notice, our main task is also getting failed because of this exception. To handle the exception and to avoid your program getting crashed, what you can do, you can wrap your long running task code in a try and catch block. So just wrap everything which we are doing as part of long running task to a try block like this, and put a generic catch block here like this. And if you're not worried about the exception also, you can just remove the ex here. Right now, if we run our program, even though we are throwing the exception after we reach the number 10, you will notice our program will not crash and our main thread will get completed smoothly. You can see here long running task and main running task is getting completed, and after hitting the number 10, our long running task is no more getting executed. Only our main running task is getting run and it is getting completed till number 49. So guys, this is how you can handle exceptions when you're writing fire and forget pattern. And that's it for this video guys. In the next video, we will understand what is an action in C#.